Hey everyone, and welcome back to It's Polarizing. Today we're dealing with a topic that's about as much fun as a root canal, without the anesthetic. Yep, we're talking about heartbreak. Breakups are rough. It's like you ordered a delicious pizza, but instead of getting pepperoni and extra cheese, it arrives with pineapple and anchovies. And you're allergic to anchovies. It's a mess. But just because you're going through it doesn't mean you can't go through it with a little bit of humor and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of grace. So buckle up as we explore 4 surprisingly fun ways to check out of Heartbreak Hotel, and remember, as my old Uncle Joe used to say, it gets better, eventually. All right, folks, first things first, when you're nursing a broken heart, the best thing you can do is treat yourself like the royalty you are. That's right, it's time for some serious self-care. We're talking long bubble baths, face masks that make you look like a glamorous swamp monster, and enough comfort food to feed a small village. And don't even think about feeling guilty about it. This is your time to wallow, to mourn the loss of your relationship like you're a medieval widow draped dramatically over a tomb. Except instead of a tomb, it's your couch, and instead of a velvet shroud, you're rocking your comfiest pajamas. Listen, I'm not saying you should camp out in your pajamas for the next 6 months and subsist solely on ice cream and rom-coms. Although, let's be honest, that doesn't sound half bad. What I am saying is, give yourself permission to indulge a little. Think of it this way. You've just been through a Category 5 emotional hurricane. Your heart is a disaster zone. So before you can even think about rebuilding, you gotta clean up the debris, board up the windows, and maybe chase away a few looters who are still trying to steal your joy. So go ahead, treat yourself to that extra slice of cake, book that massage, buy that ridiculous hat you've been eyeing. You deserve it. Okay, so you've pampered yourself silly. Good for you. But now you're starting to feel a little stir-crazy. You've watched every rom-com on Netflix twice, your bathtub looks like a Lush store exploded in it, and you're pretty sure you just saw your cat judging you from the doorway. It's time for Phase 2 of Operation Heartbreak Hotel Escape, calling in the troops. That's right, it's time to reconnect with your squad, your people, your ride-or-die crew. Remember those amazing friends who've seen you at your best and your worst? The ones who know how to make you laugh until you snort milk out of your nose? Yeah, those legends. It's their time to shine. Now I know, the last thing you probably want to do is put on real pants and venture out into the world of functioning humans. But trust me on this one. Talking to your friends, even if it's just to complain about how much your ex loved pineapple on pizza, seriously, who does that, can work wonders. Think of your friends as emotional first responders. They're there to listen to you vent, offer words of encouragement, or hilarious insults about your ex, depending on your friend group, and remind you that you're not alone in this whole heartbreak thing. So go ahead, pick up the phone, send that text, plan that virtual hangout. Your friends are waiting, and they're armed with bad jokes, embarrassing stories about your past, and maybe even a bottle of wine or two. All right, we've pampered ourselves, we've reconnected with our people, and now it's time to get a little introspective. Don't worry, I'm not going to start quoting Rumi or anything, although if that's your jam, you do you. This chapter is all about taking some time to reflect on the past, learn from your experiences, and figure out what you want for the future. Think of it like this. Your last relationship was like a cross-country road trip. Sure, there were some amazing scenic views and unforgettable moments, but there were also probably some detours, flat tires, and maybe even a run-in with a particularly grumpy gas station attendant. We've all been there. Now that the trip is over, it's time to unpack the car, sort through the souvenirs, and figure out what you're going to do with that half-eaten bag of chips you found under the passenger seat. In other words, it's time to unpack the emotional baggage, learn from the good and the bad, and figure out what you want your next adventure to look like. This is your chance to get real with yourself. What worked in your last relationship? What didn't? What are your non-negotiables? And most importantly, what have you learned about yourself? This process can be a little uncomfortable, like trying on a pair of jeans you haven't worn in 5 years. You might discover some things you'd rather not think about, like the fact that you have a tendency to date people who look suspiciously like your high school crush. Just me? But trust me, this self-reflection is crucial. It's how you grow, how you evolve, and how you avoid making the same mistakes again. Okay, friends, we've made it to the final stage of our Heartbreak Hotel Escape, checking out with grace. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this part can be tough. It's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs and the if-onlys, to replay every fight, every awkward date, every questionable outfit choice. We all have them. But here's the thing. Dwelling on the past is like trying to run backwards on a treadmill. It's exhausting, pointless, and you're probably going to end up with a pulled hamstring. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Instead of clinging to what was, let's focus on what is. And what is this: You are here, you are awesome, and you have a bright future ahead of you. Easier said than done, right? That's where mindfulness and acceptance come in. Mindfulness and acceptance are about being present in the moment, acknowledging your feelings without judgment, and learning to let go of what you can't control. It's about recognizing that heartbreak is a part of life, a messy, uncomfortable, but ultimately temporary part of life. Think of it like this. Remember when you were a kid and you scraped your knee? It hurt like crazy at first, but eventually the pain faded, the wound healed, and you were back to climbing trees and causing general mayhem. Heartbreak is kind of like that, except, without the band-aids and neosporin. It hurts, it sucks, but it will heal. Well, folks, there you have it. 4 surprisingly fun ways to check out of Heartbreak Hotel and get back to living your best life. Remember, heartbreak may be a part of life, but it doesn't have to define you. So go forth, be kind to yourselves, and remember, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are never, ever alone. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more of our questionable life advice. Until next time, stay awesome.